All right, let's dive right into the Seattle Seahawks. This team is coming off an incredible win against the Cardinals and 49ers in San Francisco, and where almost no one expected them to come out on top. The sports books had them as underdogs, and most bettors favored the Cardinals and 49ers. For the Seahawks to go in there and prove everyone wrong, securing a massive win, really shows the strength and resilience of this team. Despite their ups and downs throughout the season, they're in a great position within the division. Currently sitting at 6-5, they're sitting top in their division, and as we know, winning the division is crucial for a strong playoff run. That's why I'm really excited about this Seahawks team. I think they've got some surprises left, and we're about to see them put it all together. Before I get deeper into why I believe this, if you're a fan of the NFL, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos throughout the season. Back to the Seahawks. The 49ers win really showed both sides of the ball stepping up when it mattered most, and that's something we hadn't seen consistently from past Seahawks teams. Historically, they folded under pressure, but in this game, they proved they can handle the heat. A big part of that success starts with the quarterback position and Geno Smith. Geno gets a lot of unnecessary criticism, but I believe he's a solid quarterback who can lead a team to victories. Yes, he's had his ups and downs, but he's also had some incredible moments, and those were on full display against the 49ers. The Seahawks rank among the top 3 teams in the NFL for passing yards per game, which shows Geno's doing a lot of things right. He's had a few turnovers, but he's also run the ball well, and I believe the interceptions won't be a long-term issue. We've seen him protect the ball before, so if he can get back into that rhythm, the offense will be just fine. Geno has proven he can drive the team down the field in big moments, and if he can cut down on mistakes, he's the guy this team needs to succeed. The Seahawks arguably have one of the best groups of weapons in the entire NFL with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith, and I don't think many people would argue against that. But even with all this talent, I don't think we've seen this offense play at their full potential yet, and that's why they're so scary. The offense, like I said, is already a top 10 passing unit in the NFL, so to say they still have a lot left in the tank is pretty crazy. And that all starts, in my opinion, with Jackson Smith, who we're finally seeing turn into the player he was drafted to be. JSN was the #1 receiver in his draft class for a reason, and he's proving that this season by leading the Seahawks in receiving yards and just recently going off against a really good 49ers defense. Now, the 49ers may have some injuries on the offensive side of the ball, but they don't have many injuries on the defensive side, so for JSN to go out there and shred them for 10 receptions and over 100 yards really shows what he's developing into. He's made a name for himself as one of the best route runners in the NFL because he consistently finds ways to get wide open, and that's why we've seen Geno Smith get more and more comfortable throwing him the ball. He trusts that JSN will be there whenever he needs him, and for the most part, he's done that and gotten better at it throughout the season. This makes me believe that JSN will only continue to develop, and that's why I see him as the #2 receiver on this team. I think DK Metcalf is still the #1. Even though he's not leading in receiving yards, that's mainly due to him being the big weapon you can put on the outside and trust to go get the football. While he might not have as many yards as JSN, teams are paying more attention to him, and he's also missed 2 games. If he hadn't missed those games, he probably would be leading in receiving yards. So to have DK and JSN as the 1-2 punch is pretty unstoppable if used correctly. And when you add Tyler Lockett as the 3rd receiver, who is still a really good player in this league, you can see why I say this team has one of the best weapon groups in the NFL. They have the big #1 speed guy in DK, the great #2 slot guy in JSN, and the smart deep threat in Lockett, who still makes big plays to help move the offense down the field. With all 3 of these guys playing together, defenses have a hard time finding answers. They bring too much to the table, and as long as Geno can get the ball in their hands, the offense is going to be great, especially when you pair it with a solid run game. And we can't forget about the Seahawks rushing game. Kenneth Walker has been solid, and while the running game doesn't get as much attention, it's been key in keeping defenses honest. A solid run game paired with a dynamic passing attack creates an offense that is difficult to stop. Once everything clicks, I believe this team can consistently score 24-plus points per game, which should be enough to compete with anyone. Now let's talk about the defense. A lot of focus has been on the offense, but the defense has quietly improved as the season goes on. The pass rush, while not elite, has been effective. They've managed to put pressure on quarterbacks, and that's crucial for success. In the win over the 49ers, we saw the Seahawks fluster Brock Purdy, forcing him out of the pocket and making him uncomfortable. That's something you want to see from your defense, especially when facing a good offense. Mike Macdonald has done a great job with this defense, building out a pass rush that continues to get better each week. They were able to contain Christian McCaffrey in that game, limiting him to a much quieter performance than usual. McCaffrey still got some yards, but the key was not allowing him to break off big plays. That's how you slow down the 49ers offense, and the Seahawks executed the game plan perfectly. The linebackers and defensive line also played well, and when you pair that with a strong secondary, you've got a defense that can compete with the best. The secondary has been one of the best in the league this season, with Tariq Woolen, Devin Witherspoon, and Josh Job leading the way. Witherspoon in particular has been outstanding for a second-year player. At safety, Kobe Bryant and Julian Love have been playing well, adding to a secondary that can shut down any passing attack. Against the 49ers, the defense held Brock Purdy to just 159 passing yards, which is impressive, especially when you consider the weapons the 49ers have on offense. Holding them to under 200 passing yards is a huge accomplishment, and it was a big reason why the Seahawks were able to pull off the win. That victory in San Francisco was massive for the Seahawks. It put them in a great position as they look ahead to the rest of the season. They have faced the Arizona Cardinals after that, who were leading the division, and they very comfortably won that match as well. After that game, the Seahawks sitting top of their table. Despite the challenges, I was confident the Seahawks will come through. This team has proven they can step up in big moments, and with everything starting to click on both sides of the ball, I believe they'll continue to build momentum.